Verses 7 and 8 of the Dhammapada were spoken by the Blessed One while he was residing near the city of Satavya, with reference to the younger Kala and the elder Kala, namely Kula Kala, Little Black, and Maha Kala, Great Black. Kula Kala, Majjhima Kala, Middle Black, and Maha Kala were three brothers, householders, living in Satavya. Kula Kala and Maha Kala, the youngest and the eldest brothers, frequently traveled to other regions with a caravan of 500 bullock carts loaded with household goods for trade, while Majjhima Kala stayed at home selling the merchandise they brought back. On one occasion, the two brothers set out from Vesali with various kinds of goods loaded on 500 bullock carts. On the road between Savatthi and the Jetavana Grove, they halted and unyoked their carts. As evening fell, Mahakala saw the lay devotees of Savatthi carrying flowers and incense, walking in great numbers toward the monastery. Curious, he stopped one of them to ask where they were going. Upon learning that they were going to listen to the Dhamma, he felt inclined to go as well. After instructing his younger brother to watch over the caravan, he set out. Upon arriving at the monastery, he paid homage to the Tathagata and sat down at the outer edge of the assembly. On that day, the Buddha delivered many discourses, expounding the Dhamma gradually according to Mahakala's disposition. He emphasized the aggregate of suffering, teaching discourses concerning fault, distortion, and the danger inherent in sensual pleasures. After hearing the Dhamma, Mahakala reflected inwardly, everyone must abandon all possessions at death. Upon passing to the other world, no wealth or relatives can accompany one. Why, then, should I live the household life? And he resolved to go forth into homelessness. He then requested the Buddha for admission into the Sangha. The Buddha asked, "Do you have any relatives whose consent you must obtain?" "I have a younger brother, Venerable Sir." "Then ask his permission." "Yes, Venerable Sir." Mahakala then went to see Kulakala and told him to take possession of all the property. Kulakala was astonished and could not understand the reason. When he learned of his elder brother's intention to go forth under the Buddha, he was deeply shaken. He tried in every way to persuade his brother to abandon the idea of ordination, but without success. In the end, Kulakala had no choice but to give his consent. Mahakala then went forth under the Buddha and became a bhikkhu. And, remarkably, Kulakala also went forth after his brother, but with an entirely different intention, that he would ordain only for a period of time and then return to the household life, at which point he would bring his elder brother back with him. After some time, when his period of probation had been completed, Mahakala approached the Buddha and respectfully made a request. "Venerable Sir, how many duties of practice are there in the teaching?" The Buddha replied that there are two: the duty of learning, Gantha Dura, and the duty of meditation, Vipassana Dura. Mahakala then said, "Venerable Sir, I went forth when I was already advanced in age. I'm unable to fulfill the duty of learning, but I am able to undertake the duty of meditation." The Buddha then instructed him to devote himself to the practice of purity by meditating at a charnel ground, aiming at the attainment of arahatship. At the end of the first watch of the night, when all others were asleep, he went to the charnel ground. At dawn, before anyone had awakened, he returned to the monastery. At that time, the keeper of the charnel ground was a woman named Kali, whose duty it was to cremate corpses. Seeing that this elder repeatedly stood up, sat down, and walked about, she became curious and wished to find out who he was, but she could learn nothing about the elder. One night, therefore, she lit a lamp in the hut at the charnel ground and, together with her son and daughter, hid in a corner to watch. When she saw the elder arrive, She approached, paid homage, and asked, "Venerable sir, does such a noble bhikkhu reside here?" "Yes, sister." "Venerable sir, those who come to stay at this charnel ground are required to observe certain regulations. Instead of saying, 'Do you think I must comply with your regulations?' the elder said, 'What must I do, lay friend?' "Oh, venerable sir, anyone who comes to stay at the charnel ground is required to inform beforehand the keeper of the charnel ground, the senior elder of the monastery, and the village headman." "Why is that?" "Thieves, when pursued by the owners of stolen property, often flee into the charnel ground and leave the stolen goods there. Later, the owners who have lost their property come and threaten or harm those who reside in this place. But if the authorities are properly informed, such trouble can be avoided by officially confirming that the noble bhikkhu has been residing here for some time and that he is not a thief. Therefore, venerable sir, it is mandatory that the authorities be informed of your intention." Mahakala then further, "What else must I do?" "Venerable sir, as long as you are residing in the charnel ground, you must refrain from eating fish, meat, sesame, flour, oil, and honey. You must not sleep during the day, nor give way to sloth and torpor. You must live with the highest degree of diligence, exerting all the power of your will, and refrain from double speech and falsehood. In the evening, when everyone has gone to sleep, you must leave the monastery and come here at dawn before anyone has awakened. You must return. Venerable sir, if while residing in this charnel ground, you attain the final fruition of the path, and if someone brings a corpse to be discarded, I shall place the body upon the funeral pyre and make offerings in the usual manner with flowers and incense, carrying out the cremation according to proper rites. But if you do not attain the path, I shall light the fire on the pyre, drag the corpse away from the pyre with a pole, chop it into pieces with an axe, and then throw them into the fire to be completely burned." "Very well, sister, but if you happen to see a corpse that could serve as a suitable object for my meditation on material form, please, out of kindness, let me know." "Oh, yes, I give my word." In accordance with this undertaking, the elder Mahakala practiced meditation at the charnel ground. The elder Kulakala, however, was restless and preoccupied, constantly thinking of household life, missing his children, missing his wife, and believing that his elder brother had embarked upon an exceedingly difficult undertaking. At that time, a young woman of a noble and wealthy family fell ill and died that very evening, her beauty still fresh. Her relatives and friends brought her body to the charnel ground, together with firewood, oil, and other necessary items. They instructed the keeper of the charnel ground to cremate the body. After settling the payment, they handed over the corpse and departed. The charnel ground keeper removed the woman's clothing and, noticing the radiant, golden beauty of her body, reflected that this body would be a suitable object for meditation for the Venerable One. She then went to the elder, informed him, and invited him to come. The elder came to the place, requested that the covering garment of the corpse be removed, and stood contemplating it from the soles of the feet to the tips of the hair. He instructed the charnel ground keeper to cast this radiant, beautiful body into the fire, and to inform him when the flames had taken hold. Then he returned to his own place and sat down. The keeper did as instructed and came to inform him. The elder then went to the cremation ground and contemplated the corpse, where the flesh had been scorched by the fire. The woman's skin appeared mottled like the hide of a cow. The feet protruded and hung down. The hands were clenched, and the skin of the forehead had been stripped away. The elder reflected inwardly, who, seeing this body now, would not abandon all words of praise a body that has become putrid and has perished. And he returned to his own place and sat down, clearly comprehending decay and dissolution. All conditioned formations are impermanent. They are of the nature to arise and pass away. When arising and passing away are brought to an end, the stilling of all formations is bliss. After reciting this verse of the Dhammapada, Mahakala opened the insight knowledge Vipassana Jnana and attained Arahatship together with the supernormal powers. When the elder Mahakala attained Arahatship, the teacher was traveling with the bhikkhus surrounding him. He arrived at Setavya and entered the Simsapa forest. The wives of Kulakala, hearing that the Buddha had arrived, all schemed to win back their husband. They sent a messenger to invite the Buddha while awaiting the Buddha's arrival. According to custom, they had to prepare seating without restriction to ensure that the arrangement was properly made. A bhikkhu was sent ahead to prepare the seats. The Buddha's seat was to be placed in the middle. To the right, the seat of the elder Sariputta. To the left, the elder Moggallana. And next to them, on both sides, seats were to be arranged for the bhikkhus. Accordingly, the elder Mahakala, who was responsible for safeguarding the robes and bowls of the Sangha, called Kulakala and said, "Go ahead and supervise the arrangement of the seats." From the day they met Kulakala again, the women mocked him. They placed low seats at the front for the elders to sit on and high seats for the newly ordained bhikkhus. Kulakala instructed them to rearrange the seating. Do not arrange it like that. Do not place low seats above and high seats below. But the women refused to heed his words and angrily exclaimed, "Why do you keep walking back and forth here? By what authority do you give orders about arranging seats? Whom did you leave behind to go forth? Who ordained you? For what purpose have you come here?" After ridiculing him relentlessly, they tore apart his upper and lower robes, dressed him in white lay garments, placed a garland upon his head, and pushed him outside, adding mockingly, "Go and look for the Buddha, and we will arrange the seats ourselves." At that time, those who had been newly ordained as bhikkhus for only a short period and had not yet observed the rain's retreat were not subject to any disgrace if they returned to the household life. Therefore, Kulakala was not troubled by the loss of his robes. He went to pay homage to the Buddha and invited the Buddha and his Sangha to his home. After the Buddha and the Sangha had finished their meal, the wives of Mahakala, seeing this, also devised plans to reclaim their husband. Thus, they invited the Buddha again on the following day, but this time a bhikkhu was sent in advance to arrange the seating, and in this way, the wives of Mahakala lost the opportunity to cause disturbance. When the seating for the Sangha had been prepared, the women offered the food. Those bhikkhus who wished to partake of the meal sat down and took their midday meal. Those who wished to go out stood up and departed. The Buddha sat down and took his meal. After he had finished eating, the women addressed him, saying, "Venerable Sir, the elder Mahakala will make the dedication of merit and return afterward. We request that the Blessed One depart first." The Buddha gave his consent. Very well. When the Buddha reached the gate of the village, the bhikkhus murmured among themselves in discontent, "Alas, the conduct of the teacher is truly difficult to comprehend. We do not know whether he has noticed it or not. Yesterday, when Kulakala was sent ahead to arrange the seats, his life of the holy life came to an end. Today, when another bhikkhu was sent, nothing happened. But the Buddha allowed Mahakala to remain behind and continued on his journey. Again, the bhikkhus discussed among themselves, "The bhikkhu Mahakala is virtuous and noble. We wonder whether the wives will cause him to abandon the holy life as well." Hearing this murmuring, the Buddha stopped and asked them, Bhikkhus, what are you discussing? They related the matter to him. The Buddha then said, But, Bhikkhus, do you think that Mahakala is like Kulakala? Yes, Venerable Sir, Kulakala has 2 wives, but Mahakala has as many as 8. If these 8 women surround him and seize him, we do not know how he would manage, Venerable Sir. Bhikkhus, do not speak thus. Kulakala lived restlessly and busily, his mind bound by attachment to pleasures. But Mahakala, my son, is the very opposite. He does not pursue sensual pleasures. He is unshaken, like a rocky mountain. Then the Buddha uttered, Dhammapada, verse 7, one who lives, contemplating the beautiful, unrestrained in the faculties, immoderate in eating, indolent and lacking energy. Mara overpowers such a one, as the wind overthrows a weak tree. And Dhammapada, verse 8 as follows, one who lives, contemplating the foul, well restrained in the faculties, moderate in eating, endowed with faith, and diligent. Mara cannot overpower such a one, as the wind cannot shake a rocky mountain. The former wives of Mahakala surrounded the Venerable One and cried out together, Who gave you permission to go forth? Will you now agree to return and live the household life? Having spoken thus, and acting even more forcefully than before, they attempted to strip the golden robe from him. But the Venerable One had foreseen this. By means of supernormal power, he rose into the air, passed through the roof of the house, and flew to the Buddha, descending to the ground. At the very moment the Blessed One had finished reciting the Dhammapada verses, the Venerable One praised the golden body of the Buddha and paid homage at his feet. The story today comes to a close, allowing us to realize that there are certain things in life you do not need to fight against. You only need to see them clearly enough, and they will release you on their own. The issue is not where you are, but whether you are guarding your mind. When you live with mindfulness, with moderation, and without nurturing unnecessary desires, there is no need to force yourself to be strong. You naturally become steady like a mountain before the wind. If you feel that you are being swept along too quickly, stay here a little longer and subscribe to the channel so you can learn how to remain still in a world that is constantly in motion.